one of our highlights is the trade system we get through that, where produce grown in the different points that we stop can be traded to the other points. And then another highlight is our transportation system, made of the trams, the public buses, and air taxis, and the boats. Air taxis are small drone-like planes that could be used to get from place to place.
So the scale is 50 inches, which is how big or long this presentation is 7 miles. So it's supposed to be 7 miles by 7 miles, but this is only half of our city. So, and then the transportation, the drone is 6 inches equals 34 feet. And then the city scale is 1 inch equals 10 feet.
And then there are many different people who live in our city. Some of them are who you would find in just an ordinary city, such as utility workers, doctors, but the majority of professions is actually scientists, because as it travels up and down the coast, it provides many different opportunities for research.
We also have many different growing spaces on the top of our rooftops, as you see, and so that way we don't have to fully rely on the ocean and the places where we dock.
For food, yeah, and then we get life from the ocean as food too. So crabs, fish, seaweed, and then a lot of the produce and like fresh things that we eat are grown here on the rooftop gardens.
Like Elizabeth said earlier when we were up here, all of our material is recycled or recyclable.
Okay. Infrastructure.
So as Elizabeth talked about earlier, the residents start their day in the center of the city and commute outwards to their jobs, and also we build up, not out, to conserve space. Desalination. Desalination is the process of taking out salt water from the sea, and so that we have a sustainable water source.
And the desalination plant is right there. Sargassum seaweed is a type of seaweed that grows in the ocean. It has a high growth rate and takes carbon dioxide out of the air. It also can be used to make biofuels and bioplastics. So I made this. So we have this thing on the city called copper aluminum energy, where we have 2 different types of metal, copper and aluminum, and we stick them in salt water, and the electrons move apart and create electricity.
Yeah, and then tidal energy is a less known form of renewable energy, but for our city we find it very helpful, as the devices can be towed behind the city and the surge of the tides creates it, but there's actually a lot more surge because of the wake made by the propellers. So that creates a lot of energy.
We also have wind power as shown here.
Oh yeah.
And it's very useful since there's no blockage in the ocean. So. We also have solar power, which is sown on the rooftops, and it's a great source of power because it's easy to put on rooftops and places.
As I mentioned before, These water wheels provide wake for the tidal energy. They also move the city along. And I can show you them. And I can show you this one, which I didn't show you.
And do you want to talk about risks?
Yeah. And then, but there are some risks of sustainable energy. For example, wind power can harm birds and bats, and as the turbines are pretty large, they need space. Solar power needs a lot of land, so they can have suitable amounts of power. And yeah.
Alright, in conclusion, people want to live in our city because it provides a great opportunity to see different parts of the world, and since it's 100% electric and sustainable, it creates a safer and healthier living environment.